These two of you. 10 o'clock. We'll call the Harrison County Commission meeting for January 12th to order. If you would rise. Okay. Actually, that crossed my mind. So, Jan, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. My cousin Sharon Diaz sent this to me this morning, actually. Ever near Jesus, you've been calling me to a life of constant communion with you, even when I'm up to my neck in clutter. That you have been challenging me to relinquish the fantasy of an uncluttered world. I need to accept each day just as it comes to me and search for you in the midst of it all. Help me to remember that my ultimate goal is not to control or fix everything around me. It's to keep communing with you. I must not let my to-do list become an idol in directing my life. Instead, I can ask your spirit to guide me moment by moment. Your spirit will keep me close to you. In your guiding name, Jesus, we pray, amen.
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 Robert, would you lead us in the pledge?
I would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jan. Is there anybody here who signed up to speak publicly?
Mr. Parker signed up to speak.
Okay, Mr. Parker?
Thank you. The item I would like to address is number 11 on your agenda that relates to freedom of information request. Couple items that I would like to bring forward is, I think the cost is not a reasonable cost. You're looking at whether it's black or white or color copy, and we're 1,500 to 3,000% over your cost, unless something's changed in the past few months of what you're charged for extra costs on your copy machines. I checked this morning on a local big box retail that is a for-profit entity. Their cost for black and white is approximately 20 cents. And they're in it to make a profit. Hopefully the county commission is not. Also, there's nothing that I'm familiar with in the statute that requires the request to be in writing. Should be, that makes sense for tracking purposes for everybody. But the code is silent to that matter of my understanding. In fact, not everybody has that capability to present a request in writing. In addition, there's nothing in the code that I'm familiar with that requires a signature for a freedom of information request. Maybe that's a good practice, but that's not in statute. So those are a couple items that I would like to address in the policy itself. I don't think it complies with the statute. I know your attorney has a different view according to the newspaper, but I think it's three pages of rules and regulations to discourage people and get public and people's involvement in government. I don't think there's anything in that policy that encourages participation in government. Unless something's changed, the vast majority of the freedom of information requests are related to the 911 center, accidents, NVAs, et cetera, whatever. That's my 30 years of experience. And in addition, will the fees be collected in the county commission office? Have you established a point of sale location for the fees if there's any fees charged? Will it be segregation of duties on the collection of those fees? What kind of accounting will there be? Will it be a manual system? Will it be a computer system? Who's going to be responsible for remitting those fees down to the sheriff's office on a daily basis? Who collects them? Is there a segregation of duties? you're talking about a very small number of freedom of information requests, again, unless something's changed in the past few months. For a limited amount of income, you're going to be spending quite a bit of resources in collecting a small amount of money. I don't know if anybody's done any research. What does it take to collect a check and process that check through county government? Will you be losing taxpayers' money to collect 75 cents or whatever the fee may end up being? How will you handle cash? Someone shows up to the commission office, wants a copy of whatever. It's one page, they hand you a $20 bill for a 75-cent fee. You're gonna take cash, not take cash, who's gonna have to change responsibility, and things along those lines. I think it's a policy that has not been fully thought out and developed, and I would encourage the commission to revisit that on another day and address those items or other items people may have. There you go.
Thank you. Is he the only one there?
Yes.
Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom wish to speak publicly? Hearing or seeing none? It is 10:06, and I believe we have a proclamation to be presented to Mary Ann lquinto. I think they're in the hall. Come up here, Mary.
Good, how are you?
Go right up here in the middle. Okay. You want to hold this? This is your proclamation. I'll read it to you. You guys want to get in here? You can. Oh, come on up with us, however you want to do it. You all want to come up here?
Oh, we can. Sure. Sorry.
The more the merrier.
That's us. There's a lot of them.
If y'all can't fit back there, we got room up here too. I forgot you were over there. I know. We got everybody? Okay, you over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Not good, just good. Okay. Okay, it is my pleasure to present this proclamation to Mary Ann today, and I will read it. Whereas Mary Ann lquinto has faithfully served Harrison County since January 1970 as a member in good standing of the Harrison County Board of Health, spanning over 50 years of service. And whereas during this tenure, Mary Ann has volunteered at countless clinics with the Harrison Clarksburg Health Department and immunized thousands of Harrison County citizens from infectious disease and protecting its citizens from harm. And whereas Mary Ann has performed duties as a registered nurse to numerous Harrison County citizens for more than 50 years, always on call and willing to serve those in need. And whereas Mary Ann, in addition to her numerous professional responsibilities, has raised 4 children in Harrison County community and is now grandmother to 9. And whereas Mary Ann has served as medical director for the Genesis Youth Crisis Center, Inc., assessing and directing treatment for indigent and at-risk children, and thereby serving the youth of Harrison County for more than 20 years. And whereas Mary Ann has admirably served the state of West Virginia as a registered nurse and as an administrator for Weston State Hospital, having retired with more than 23 years of service. Whereas it is altogether fitting and proper that the service, hard work, and dedication of Mary Ann Iquina for the public health of the citizens of Harrison County and the state of West Virginia for more than 5 decades be properly recognized. Now therefore be it resolved, the Harrison County Commission does hereby proclaim January 12th, 2022, Mary Ann Iquina Day, to recognize an outstanding person with the willingness to serve the people of Harrison County. It's given to under our hands, the commission.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your service.
Here, here.
Thank you all very, very much. I had no idea. You're a dog too.
Would you like to say anything else other than that?
No, I just enjoyed my life and I want to keep on enjoying it. So, you know, I think I'm going to retire. Finally.
And thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just like to blow her horn for a minute.
I thought this was announced.
Yeah, she's been a wonderful wife for 58 years. Here, here. And we not only raised 4 great children, one is it's that's remained up to on yet, but we also helped raise 5 of our grandchildren. And Mary Ann's always been there for everybody. I mean, when people couldn't get out to get their flu shots, she would go to their homes and then people would come to our house in our driveway before cars and she would go out and give them a shot in the car. And probably our neighbors thought we were selling drugs. But that's her. She's always been there for everybody else. And thank you all for doing this for her. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Our
I
pleasure.
appreciate very
And I
much.
think we're blessed to have had your wife be part of this community. And I think today shows that she has a very big extended family for the amount of people that are here to celebrate this day. I want to thank you all for coming and God bless.
Thank you. Thank
Anybody
you,
else
everybody.
Anybody else want to say anything? Jack?
Yeah, I just want to thank Mary for her mentorship. She was not only on the Board of Health for so many years, but the chairwoman of that board. And when I came in, this mentored me on public health. My first job in public health almost 20 years ago. I learned a great deal from her. So. I'm nowhere near 50, but it seems like yesterday. But I really appreciate her and then her leadership of the health department. And that's a lot of the people here today. We just appreciate her and her service. And what Mr. Iquina said, she's been there for everybody forever. And we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, Mary Ann. We love
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Offers for this.
Thank you.
You are so. God bless you. Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's out there. They were always like. I tell her just ask him about it.
Figure that one out.
9 years. My father at 2 a.m. so many times about sick people.
When I read the that's very well.
She's a good one.
Hey guys, thank you. Ms. Thomas, thank you very much.
You got it. Take care. Try to take care of a couple things. Sam, is that okay? Absolutely. Okay. Number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion's been made to approve number 2, the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. One more. Payroll change notices, number 3. We have one.
Motion approved and congratulate Ms. Hamrick on her retirement.
Motion to approve and congratulate Ms. Hamrick on her retirement. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, at 10:15, we have Sam Madia, update from legal regarding pending opioid litigation. Item may lead to executive session for West Virginia Code 69A4. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you, Commission. I would just like to provide you all with just a brief update of the status of the litigation, and I would request to do so in executive session.
Somebody make the motion to go into executive session
Maybe please go into executive session.
pursuant to West Virginia Code 69A4, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Motion's been made to go into executive session pursuant to West Virginia Code 69A4. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion to executive session. To go back, go out of executive session, back into regular session. Yes, please. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We want to wait for our attorney and our administrator.
No.
Okay, number, well, next one, I think. Here we go.
We're not gonna make any decisions.
No.
Executive session.
No decisions. Okay, number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meeting.
There are none.
Okay, we have requisitions, number 5, as listed on the list. A,
Motion approved.
motion to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Exonerations. Number 6A. Pleasure.
Motion approved A.
Motion to approve 6A. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development, Series 2021, 11/23/22, and 11/23/22A and B, Development District Number 3, White Oaks, Project 2, number 2, and Series 2008A, Charles Point Project Number 2, Northland Bay Improvement. A, requisition for payment 01/12/2022 for $2,953.33. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved A.
Motion to approve 7A, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 8, it appears we don't have any.
Correct.
Correct. Number 9, review, discuss, consider monthly minutes, financial information from various boards, committees, and public service districts A and B in Morris Hepzibah and Sun Valley PSDs. It's a pleasure.
Motion approved A and B.
Motion to approve 9A and B. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 10, review, discuss, consider lease agreement between Olenbeck and Community Corrections.
Motion to continue our lease agreement with Olenbeck and Community Corrections.
Motion to continue lease with Olenbeck and Community Corrections. Any discussion? This is just,
I would just like it noted, our lease ran out the end of 2021. And so this is giving us an extension until the GSA building is complete. So they create a 7-month lease.
7 month increase other than normal.
It's there's an increase they kind of has. So it does increase the monthly rate from 6,100 to 8,400.
Wow.
But 8,400. I had thought, and I had plenty of negotiations, and I had a thought of maybe moving, for that 7 months to the DHL building or whatever. By the time we had IT, we billed that amount in about a day and a half. So if we were shut down for any length of time.
Well, it's not cost effective to move out and move back.
Exactly. So just gonna have to bite the bullet. Take
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider administrative cost schedule for FOIA request, option A.
There's actually an option A and B. You have that in the packet that I handed out to you prior to the meeting. Option A is the one that we discussed back in, I believe it was October. And then option B is one that pretty much would be my recommendation. And this one, Trey has sent me several different examples of ones that other municipalities or jurisdictions around North Central West Virginia have used. This is one that a local municipality uses as well. And this is the one that I would recommend to go with. Would be considered option B.
The one that's.
This one.
Approve option B. Of discussion, as staff recommendation.
Motion to approve option B as explained by the administrator, correct? Okay. Any further discussion? I mean, does it say who collects the fees? I mean, Mr. Parker brought up a valid point because I don't think the commission could collect fees here in the office.
He did not. We're going to have to work that out. With the county clerk.
So we're going to make estimates to people.
Yes, well, once we collect the data, we'll have an exact idea of how many pages it's going to cost and everything like that.
So first time we're going to charge $1 a page,
Correct.
$2 per page.
Correct.
And how are we justifying $1?
These are numbers that we pulled from another jurisdiction that is using the same.
I wonder how we came up with $1.
We like their policy and I stuck with their numbers.
Okay, so how did they determine the cost?
I don't have an answer for that. But do you happen to know how?
In terms of how $1 was worth, office line and get them done for 15 cents or 10 cents, how we're justifying $1, trying to roll labor into this cost? Is that what?
That's
No, we can't do that.
Well, I don't understand how we charge $1. Where's the dollar fee?
Yeah, what we did, Commissioner Hinkle, is pull a number of policies and kind of look at the market in terms of what people charge who are public entities, and it ranged from say 75 cents per page to $1.25. And we looked at Board of Governors, West Virginia University, Marshall University, Whitehall, Fairmont, I believe, some of the southern municipalities as well were looked at.
In the city of Bridgeport.
In the city of Bridgeport, that's correct. And what I commonly see is these days the documents are produced on a CD. If they are extremely voluminous, they are produced on a CD to the requester. But that's something that's agreed upon, working with the requester to get them the information which falls within the FOIA request.
Where's that fee if you want it on a memory stick?
That is not an option. Video or audio reproduction is there, copies of the fees, and the printing.
So it's still $1 if I ask for it to be put on a memory stick.
It is.
Is that what we're saying?
I think the county administrator said a CD is not exactly within the policy as presently presented. I would encourage a flat charge for a CD, not a per dollar per page fee.
That's what I did.
Because that's what I see across the board and others, and I think that's, I would not suggest providing thumb drives or thumb sticks because they're just a lot more expensive than CDs to acquire. But I put a flat fee in for a CD of $5. It seems fair for the commission. $5, $10.
Laura, this one is A
Correct.
and this one's B.
Correct.
So we'll bring this back up next Wednesday.
No, the motion was made to approve B.
Then B's not on the agenda. I don't want to get in a fight with you again about it, but it's not on the agenda.
Disagree with that.
Okay. We'll read the agenda item.
I read the agenda item. I said I don't disagree with
Oh.
you.
I'm sorry.
Want to table it till next week?
Yes. You want to
Yes, motion is tabled.
withdraw your motion and or change it to motion to table until next week due
Yeah.
to not being on the,
And I don't
B
want-
not being included?
And what I have the permission to say in the open meeting that, Laura, I do think it should be $5 for the other.
For the CD.
And one point to make clear in terms of why this is necessary, the Secretary of State's office now requires every FOIA that's presented to a
Be recorded.
governing body to be reported. So this is to help you all with the structure and the reporting process to the Secretary of State. Certainly, if somebody comes in and makes an oral request, we would allow that. That would not be prohibited. I would never tell you all to do that. But this is to help us have a streamlined process to report and to account for the documents as well.
Well, I'm fine with it. The only thing that I'm not is with fees. I mean, we're gonna waive the fees if we can show somebody is can't afford it.
I believe there is a fee waiver provision in the proposal within D specifically.
Do they have to fill out an affidavit to that effect?
It would just be made in writing, or if orally is all someone can do. Certainly, the commission would entertain that, and it'd be up to the county administrator consistent with the policy.
So some of this stuff probably needs to be
So,
included
I
as
guess
well
I'm back
as.
to again on
fees.
1,000 pages, so I'm gonna have to put on a CD. I'm gonna pay $5.
I would charge a flat rate for a CD. What you all want to charge, I think $5 is fair.
So I don't have to pay the $1 a page to get it on the CD.
Would not encourage you all to adopt $1 per page. for a
Plus the CD.
Yes,
Makes sense to you, Laura? Okay.
Okay, so you motion to table
Yes,
until
please.
next week. Any further discussion?
My man.
Okay, all in favor of tabling, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Review, discuss, consider adoption of intergovernmental agreement between Harrison County Commission and Harrison County Solid Waste Authority for hiring / creation of litter control officer and implementation of county litter control program.
You are presented with two intergovernmental agreements. The first one was the original one that we received back in the summer between the Harrison County Commission and the Harrison County Solid Waste Authority. And then B is the intergovernmental agreement that we did have some changes made. And it was sent out also and circulated earlier this week. Between the two agreements, it would be my recommendation to accept the original intergovernmental agreement that was presented to us back in the summer. And if there's any questions, that's this agreement that I would be referring to.
Who did the blue line? On the agreement? that you, Trey?
Yes, sir.
And these are things that you thought should have been changed?
I had some proposals and these kind of go with our concept of trying to make your all's contracts align. What I mean by that is same insurance, same general provisions. They were not large substantial changes to the intergovernmental agreement presented by the Solid Waste Authority. I felt they were very small changes to create contractual consistency for you all.
Or has this been presented to the solid waste authority for changes?
Yes.
And what are their comments back?
They would like us to stick with the agreement A,
The original.
the original.
I've read them and I have to agree with legal that I think anything that he hasn't put in that we don't keep is not good for the county. And I think he addressed those issues to protect us and make sure that we can operate this safely and not bring any undue issues onto the county if something happens.
Trey and I have had several discussions about this. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, even with the original proposed intergovernmental agreement, if 6 months down the line, we are not happy with it, we give a 90-day notice. Correct?
That's correct. And the agreement could be terminated upon 90 days written notice. Certainly that's in.
I appreciate what you did, Mr. Simmer, but I too I agree with the original one. As long as we are reimbursed the costs, and we don't have any issues, I'll be the first one to stand up if there are issues and say, hey, we need to look at this. Give them 90 days. I think we need, because it's their baby, yes. And the only reason we're in this is a pass-through, but I think this is a very vital service to the citizens of Harrison County. And I do not believe there will be an issue between the county and Solid Waste Authority. I hope there won't. I know we've had some in the past, and I hope we can move past that. But that's just my 2 cents. As far as insurance is taken care of, we can see eye to eye. That's where I am.
Just so you know, we do have the same, we have West Virginia municipal insurance, the same insurance you guys have.
I mean, that would be, liability would be my concern. That's,
Okay, but under your original agreement, you don't take over the insurance, do you?
They will have the insurance on the vehicle and all the equipment. We will have the insurance on the employee. And they will reimburse us for salary, benefits, anything associated with that employee.
there's no cost to the county.
Correct.
So what do you all find wrong with this agreement that our attorney drew up?
History.
With respect to the commission, I'm going to defer any comments until I do it.
Robert, if I understand this guy's gonna be somehow involved with you.
I've not seen the agreement. I just had preliminary discussions. I know that there would be a very close working relationship between that person and the sheriff's office, but I don't think that there's any way the sheriff's office has any responsibility or obligation for this.
So you're gonna be the ex officio member of litter control committee.
I think that's state code, and I think that's standard.
That is direct from state code.
I guess it would be similar, Commissioner Hinkle, to what we do with community correction. Myself and the prosecutor, automatic members, I think, to that board.
I guess my question is legal saying that their recommendations, they're willing to waive?
Can you repeat that, Commissioner Hinkle? I'm sorry. I couldn't
You're
hear.
willing to waive the recommendations that you gave us, and we're gonna go with the original? That's what I thought.
I drafted the changes because I felt they were appropriate. I certainly have to agree to disagree with the litter control respectfully, but
And we can do that and move.
I don't have any problem doing that. And moving forward, I think it's a positive development for the county. I've always thought that. I've never not thought that, but I just have to agree to disagree over the nature of the changes. I think they're very minimal, as I started the conversation with today.
Well, I guess my confusion is, we hired you for advice and to go over our documents. I'm gonna guess there's some value and money that was spent doing this. And we're gonna sit here today and not implement any of your suggestions.
There was time spent looking at it. You specifically asked me to look at it and to
Yes,
make
sir, I did.
comments, and when you direct me to do something, sir, I do it. That's
And I
my job.
appreciate that, but I guess my question is, that we're not implementing any recommendations from you in the agreement.
That's a decision for you all.
And this person will be under your all's control.
Yes.
I think that's the most insane thing that we would agree to.
On a positive note, Madam President, one of the bills being introduced from the governor in Charleston this year to legislation in the Senate will be a $30 million bill to work with the counties as municipalities, as well as the counties for the first time, to rid ourselves of what we believe in our state is 15,000 dilapidated structures. So on a positive note, this is a step forward to helping us, move forward with removing ourselves from the dilapidated structures within our county and from within our municipalities. So at this time, I'll make a motion that we do go with the recommendation of the administrator and move forward with the original agreement.
I have a couple more questions. The money. Is this a continuing thing, or is this just will be looked at every year on an annual basis?
As we said the first time we were in here, this money is coming from the Senate bill that passed last year that gives the solid waste authorities additional monies that they took from money that used to go to the DEP. It's broken up into 5 years. It will increase with us each year up until the 5th year, and then it will be the same from that point forward. That's what the funding that we will use to pay for this position. So we'll always be there as long as landfill.
And Charlotte, what will this person be able to do that you or your staff can't presently do?
They will be able to write tickets, charge fines, and take them to the magistrate court. That's the steps that we do not do.
And what keeps your people from doing that?
Our ordinance. We
The
don't
ordinance.
fine people.
So we could change the ordinance, then your people could do this job.
I don't think so,
Why?
because we're going by this certain code. We're going with the other code on this one.
The
And
litter,
the other code does not say that you can find them.
How's this person gonna find people? Under what code?
What is it, the,
713 at the,
yeah, that's the code
Why
they're
does he have
using.
more
and we-
authority than Charlotte's people?
now, by statute, the litter control officer has more powers related to what I call on-spot citation authority versus a traditional enforcement officer at the county level. Their ultimate power will be determined, pardon me, by the nature of the hiring. If it is a certified law enforcement officer, they will also have additional powers for enforcement of state code beyond just a litter control officer. So it truly comes down to the person you all hire, what credentials they have, but they do have certain powers that typically align more with what municipalities have in terms of going out to an open dump and writing a ticket, as opposed to a county where our traditional enforcement official is not vested with that power. So by statute.
Can we change our employees to litter control officer?
Well, the path we've talked about is how do we keep the momentum with what Charlotte's office is doing and then incorporate litter control on a different track. If her employees were qualified and we set up the enforcement agency for litter control, which we have to do by ordinance, then I guess theoretically they could be a litter control officer. But we've talked about keeping the tracks totally separate because the nature of what we're trying to accomplish is fundamentally different with Charlotte's office versus litter control officer and official. There are places that blend them together to some extent, but we felt like the public safety ordinance from Raleigh County blends them together to some extent, but we thought it was best to keep the tracks separate. So we think they'll both work.
And why do you not want this person to be your employee?
under code that can't.
You can't be on it.
That's the only reason we need the commission.
That's the only reason you're
That's
here.
the only reason we're here. It's that one section of code that says you have the authority to hire somebody to write a ticket. We do not. We'll cover everything else. We need that one line, which gives that guy the authority to write the ticket. And yes, you can make, I don't mean to interject with you, but yes, you can make your own employees that. And I tell you what, if that's the way you want to do it, I hate to speak for the board, but I'm probably feel fairly comfortable saying this, have at it.
Me too. I'm
That
thinking the
saves
same
you a
thing.
bunch of money on that budget.
Go for it.
That's what we want is.
Give
litter
us as
control
big a
officer
stick
in
as
this
you can.
county. And if you want to make your own employees, we'll withdraw that right now.
Now,
Yeah.
we send them out every day to do this, they just can't write a ticket. So, I mean, it's not something that's new. That's basically what our planning department is. We don't plan anything other than go out and look for garbage and dilapidated structures and trash in yards. That's what they do every day. But that's what our people in planning do. They don't plan for anything other than to clean the county up. So I'm just trying to understand why we just can't tell them to go get a ticket book, change the RVU and give them a ticket book. And it just seems awful simple to me just to give them a ticket book, change the ordinance. You doing it?
But they have the money to pay.
We're already paying these people, Susan. I mean, we're duplicating.
This gives you
services.
an additional person to be out there
Can
at no cost to the county.
I make a practical point? So the focus of planning has always been on dilapidated structures.
Right.
Because there's a fundamental difference when we go to court on a dilapidated structure versus a garbage ticket for taking somebody to
Because
circle.
we never gave the authorization for them to do a trade. We've never passed that so that they could get that ticket. This commission has always stayed away from that and didn't want to get involved. Now we want to get involved. Again, we've got 3 people sitting up there. We need 3 people to go around and look at dilapidated structures. If you get another guy, now we got 4.
Well, let's go ahead and vote on today's issue and let's bring this up for another day. And you bring to the table what you're thinking about, David, because I'm rolling with you on it. Quite frankly, I just think it's, we're leaving the purpose of the day's agenda item for these gentlemen and we can move forward. And then if you want to give more muscle to what we have upstairs, I'm 100% behind it. So let's move forward with today's agenda item.
There's a motion on the table yes, to go with the administrator's recommendation. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carried. Number 13, review, discuss, consider reformation, amendment, and update of Harrison County nuisance ordinances, procedures, and protocols to accommodate litter control officer and litter control program.
Motion approved, please.
And somebody tell, this is just to incorporate,
Yes,
this was done to incorporate the litter control, right?
yes.
Correct. It will require the creation of an enforcement agency consistent with state code. It also provides due process protections for people aggrieved by a finding of litter control officer. It's effective 30 days from today to give you all time administratively to work through this in terms of.
Thank you, Commissioner Turner.
What changes from our existing?
So the existing nuisance ordinance is under 713N, I believe, and it relates to dilapidated properties and structures. This is creating a separate enforcement agency specifically under 713FF that relates solely to litter control in the county.
So this is strictly for the new hire.
It's strictly for litter control in the county. Yeah, it aligns with the creation of the litter control officer.
And planning will still operate under the old.
Correct. And Charlotte and I have talked about this.
Or we can have them become litter control officers.
Once again, yes.
Yeah, if you want to move
And if
somebody.
we want to move forward and we want to give them more muscle upstairs, we absolutely can. And if you'd like to present that to us, Commissioner Hinkle, I'm 100% behind you.
How many members are on this committee? 4 members.
So the committee is created by statute. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members officially. Then you have the ex officio. The sheriff would also be an ex officio member by statute or litter control committee, or his or her designee as well.
And these, when somebody's cited for this, will have to be prosecuted by the prosecutor's office.
Certainly, it's up to you all to decide. I mean, there have been instances historically, nuisance properties where that's been delegated to outside counsel, but it's up to you all.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. You have anything?
I do not.
Well, I'm asking Laura, I'm not asking you.
I do not know today.
That's okay. Okay, thank you. I don't have anything either. Mr. Hinkle?
Just some quick updates. Things are going well at the airport. Dirt's being moved to the terminal, probably at a record pace. The buildings will be on schedule for MHI. MHI will be moving into Amended logistics here at the end of the month. Harvest Medical is on schedule. We should be looking to break ground and start a new building for new company at the Harrison County Regional Industrial Park. Our employers at the airport are still short employees. We're short probably over 200 employees just in the aerospace,
Always full-time positions.
full-time positions.
Contract positions or.
No. And it's something that could soon affect us. We're not graduating enough kids from Pierpont. We're 120 kids there. We need to get up to 300 kids to get out of that school to keep up with retirements. So right at the moment, we're losing $12 million in salaries coming into North Central West Virginia because we don't have employees. And because the school's not growing at the rate it should, in the next 5 years, we'll get close to 70 million of missing salaries. So there's a lot going on up there. It's not even taken into consideration Harvest Medical that wants anywhere between 50 and 70, and Blue Rock will come in and they're looking at between 70 and 100. So there's a lot going on up there. So give you guys an update.
Appreciate that. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.